our children have natural healing energies, not simply for themselves, but for others around them? There's just a huge release when I'm around my or other children. Absolutely, without a doubt. Children are like, they're so pure. They emit this, especially the new children. Oh my goodness, they emit such an incredibly healing vibration. So yeah, short answer to that is yes. But we have another question right under that question, which is cool, from Presley. For my child who I know is in a higher vibration, is this why she doesn't feel like eating? She only likes veggies and fruit and only eats when she wants. I feel she knows that she doesn't need crap in her body to keep her going. Is this anything? Absolutely. Some of the worst memories that I have in childhood, other than maybe some of the sexual abuse stuff, was sitting down at a plate of food, being forced to eat all of my food and crying. I just remember crying every time, thinking, but I'm not hungry. I don't need this. I don't need to eat. Our kids and even us as adults are getting to a place in a higher vibration where we need less food. And the food that we eat should be like something like what they call anyways, like living food. So like fresh fruits, veggies, like living food. Like if you're always cooking or steaming vegetables, it's not going to be great. Like I don't like, personally, I do not resonate with any cooked vegetables. I love my broccoli. I love my carrots. I love everything raw. Kale, raw cabbage. I mean, it's amazing, right? So please, like the number one thing that I have to stress for starseed parents and starseed children is listen to your children. Do not come to them with a regiment. And you know, I'm in between the homeschooling, the unschooling, the listening to your kids, but also having a structure. Like I'm kind of best of both worlds of when Nat and I have our own kids, which hopefully is soon. It's going to be a bit of, you know, there's going to be a structure, but there's also going to be room to not have a structure at all and to listen to them. If they want to dress themselves, if your little boy wants to dress in little girl clothes, or if your little girl loves playing army or whatever, like really listen to your kids because they know who they are. They know what they need. And these kids do not need as much food as is typically needed. All right. So there's no such thing as like a dietary nutrition table. Like that is all propaganda BS that is fed to us. All right. So our kids are going to need less to exist on, and we should need less to exist on. And one kind of just funny, like off, you know, human note about this, for many years, for like probably 5, maybe 7 years, especially when I stepped into my awakening back in 2010 when I was 18, probably to like 26 years old, I was super resistant against food. I had so much misery and apathy around making food, around buying food. Like my resistance around it was humans are such a needy machine. Like high maintenance is the word that I use. Like we're so high maintenance to need to be fed 3 times a day and then to excrete the waste of the food that we don't even need in our body. Like none of it resonated with me. I had so much hatred towards food in general and just resentment to cooking and making and eating and all of that, right? So most of the time I would just go with like 1 meal a day, whatever. And then honestly, like being in the relationship that I'm in now, like I cook, I clean, like I'm kind of the homemaker in that way. And not to say that Nat has made me more human, but definitely I've really stepped into that human. I love food. Like I can't believe I'm saying it. I really love food. And so now that I cherish like the tomato that I'm cutting for my salad, you know, the lettuce that I'm washing. Like I cherish every moment of the process of making the food, taking the time out, of spending the time with the food, of eating the food, of all the different flavors and colors and the whole experience. I am like engrossed in, okay? Which is funny because now it's kind of more difficult to go a day without food, to do the fasting that I was used to doing so easily in the past. And I love the fact that I love food now. And I don't know, it's really funny to observe my own progression through the food journey, And so, and I always like, then I have an intuitive diet. I do eat meat, I do eat fish. I will say that my body really resonates with fish, and more so, like those blood types that you can get that say, oh, well, you're O negative and you're more of a meat eater or whatever. It's kind of like I feel like my genetics navigate or are drawn to more of a pescatarian diet. Because like my bowel movements, everything, my whole system, my skin is amazing when I'm eating fish and just veggies. So really like listening to your body and understanding what your body needs. And if you are eating animal product, or you are eating cheese, because I will admit I do love cheese, all right. I always try and transmute that energy of like, thank you for giving my body the nutrients that it needs. Like, I believe that we can get to a point where, and I want to do so many scientific studies, like in a laboratory setting, where if an average person were to drink a glass of water, what are the effects on the body after drinking a glass of water? If a person who is attuned to their body, who is attuned to meditation, who is in full control of their body, were to drink a glass of water and say, I'm going to get a lot of zinc from this water. My body is going to, metabolize zinc or magnesium or whatever it is that your body needs, or iron, right? And you drink the glass of water, understanding that you can get that from the water. And then you do the study on your body. You're like, wow, you got 10 milligrams of zinc from a glass of water that didn't really even have zinc in it to begin with. I believe that that is possible. I believe that we can change the actual atomic material makeup of the physical world around us. And this is what I try and do with my own food. Like the other day, I had this, actually it was when I was driving back to LA, I had this thought of, I would love to take a glass of water and to think about a color, like maybe the color pink or maybe the color yellow, and to have a glass of water somewhere in my home. And every time I see the glass of water, I think, oh, like that water is so pink. That water is so purple. That water is so blue. How weird for water to be blue or whatever. And then over time to watch the actual water change color. Like Jesus turned water into wine. Like, I'm sorry, that's like a biblical thing, but like, that's possible. I believe that he was an ascended master. I believe that these things are possible. So let's dive into it. Like, let's get into it. Let's take full control over our physical reality by observing something objectively, and then making it what you want to make it, and believing that you can do that because you're fucking powerful enough to do that, right? So rant over. I love your questions.